I'd like to tell you a little bit about what went into developing the logo. I held an international competition with hundreds of artists from around the world, and this was the winning logo, and you see the 10 rings underneath, meaning like a perfect 10 in gymnastics. You have the 5 stars for the 5 continents, the 5 major continents. On the rear are the Royal Olympic wreaths. And so this signifies all sport, but the best of the best of the best, not only in their sporting capacity and capability, but also in their human capacity to give to others. And that is a very, very important part, and that's why all these people are here today. It's kind of hard for me to introduce the next person because there's very few people who just remain your idol, even when you're around idols all the time, who are icons and have the ability. And I've said this before, you know, Arnold, there's one person like you born every century, and that's really it. I mean, there's one, and you're it for this century. Except we'll have to go back to maybe the 1800s. I mean, what you have done during your life and your career, the striving for excellence in everything from the very beginning, and be able to come to this country, not even really speaking the language, saying, I want to be chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sport, and doing it. I want to be a great movie star. And not just being a movie star, but being the most recognizable human on the planet Earth. The drive in business, the drive in sport, to be the greatest bodybuilder in history, winning over and over and over again. Literally anything that you put your mind to, you're the Terminator. I mean, you just do it. You just get it done. And this is to have watched your career over these years, and even more importantly, see what you did after your career, what you've done with Jim, with this championship, and what you've been able to achieve, and the contributions. Arnold was, without question, the greatest chairman of the President's Council on Physical Fitness and Sport. I was there. I mean, I was a special advisor. You just could not believe the energy and the hard work of visiting all 50 states, taking his own private jet, going around, and the meetings. And the most interesting thing for me all the time was when people would come in the room in the council meetings. There were people showing up at council meetings who never went to council meetings. Why? He was there, and these were congressmen, heads of state. Everyone would become a child around Arnold because they want to get their picture taken with him. Now, there's a human charismatic component that only comes around once every century. And he's the guy. And he is contributed so much to all of our lives and continues to and inspires us. And anytime I ever want to give up on something, I think of him. And I'll just push harder. I'll push out 3 or 4 more reps, or I'll work harder on a business project, or if I'm trying to come up with a new scientific concept, whatever it is, I'll push harder. Because what would Arnold do? He'd keep doing it until it got done. And no matter what it takes to get there. Now, one of the phrases that you used when you received the award at the President's Council, you said, of all the awards I've received in my life, this one was definitely the most recent. So this is definitely your most recent award. Governor Schwarzenegger.
Thank you.
Now, I hope I could put this on you.
You can.
Okay, great. The governor injured his shoulder in a movie filming, but he can handle this. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Bob, for your generosity, for giving me this medal. And I'm not going to say it is the most recent, which is it is the most recent. But I didn't even know I'm getting this here today. You just told me to come to the ceremony.
Well,
we
like
I know
surprises.
it's a little surprise. Okay, so thank you very much. But I tell you that first of all, I just want to say a few compliments about Bob, because Bob and I, we have been friends for a long time, for decades. And I always have been a big admirer of Bob's work, because he's working on helping people, helping them to be strong, to stay fit, to stay healthy, inspiring them, working with athletes that have injuries or that have concerns about various different things and about nutrition. He's an expert in so many different things. And he has been way ahead of everyone else. Now doctors are following his footsteps. So it is really great to have you do all the great work and to be part of the Arnold's Classic. You have been a great, great addition to the Arnold's Classic and all of your help. So let's give him a big hand for the great work that he's doing. And of course, Jim, my partner, and I, we admire you also because you don't only talk about fitness, you are very fit. I mean, when you look at the DVD, I have a DVD and a video of him performing all those feats of strength and endurance. I mean, you cannot believe, he doesn't look like it. You don't look like it. I mean, it was really a huge surprise to me because he always looks fit, but you would never guess the kind of things that this guy can lift and do. It was really amazing to see that. So I just wanted to know, you're the real thing.
Well, I made the movie up for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I hope there were not special effects in there.
No, it was all regular.
But anyway, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I also want to say that just being in this group, I mean, I couldn't have been in a more incredible group. If you think about Randy, I tell you, the amount of joy that you've brought to me, sitting there and watching those UFC fights, and doing the kind of things that you do, the kind of unbelievable condition. I mean, they have, instead of 3-minute rounds, 5-minute rounds, and then when it comes to the championships, it's 5 rounds of 5 minutes. It is extraordinary, and how tough you have to be to take this kind of a punishment. And he was champion over and over and over, and his style was so entertaining. And it was because I think of him that the ratings are so extraordinary when it comes to the UFC fights. It's really, I mean, they've stolen the show of every other spectator sport, and especially of boxing. And you know, we don't choose sports here at the Arnold's Classic. We love all 45 sports that are here. But I tell you, you have brought great entertainment and great joy to me and great inspiration, and also with your movie career. You are now as dedicated, and I can relate to that, you know, when you go into it with that same passion. And you know, we just worked together in the movie Expendables #2 with Sylvester Stallone, and we had a lot of fun. I was only down there for 4 days in Bulgaria, but we had a lot of fun. It was great to work with you. So congratulations, and thank you for the great contributions that you make. Thank you. And of course, Corey, you know, I'm very happy that Franco and I were kind of the first ones to recognize your beauty. I mean, you walked into Gold's gym. I mean, you know, we kind of like, I don't think we could continue pumping up, Frank and I. The only thing that was pumping up was our mouth, which is just like our mouth dropped open, and we were just looking at you. You were gorgeous. And then we saw you working out, and we realized that you were a very, very dedicated athlete. And you had the discipline and everything. That's why we felt very strongly that if you go and step into bodybuilding, that you could clean house. I mean, that you could win for years to come. And sure enough, that's what you did. And you hooked up with Wheeler, and it was a great relationship that you had there, and he gave you the necessary promotion. And you started winning those championships, and one after the next, and it was really extraordinary. And you really helped female bodybuilding to be where it is today. So I want to say thank you to you, and also for all the work that you're doing also for the community, not just for yourself and trying to be a champion yourself, but you want everyone else to become a champion. So let's give a big hand to Corey Everson. And Mark, first of all, I was insulted when Bob said that you are the strongest human being alive, of any human being. And so I said, why the hell doesn't he not include animals? Because it doesn't make any difference if you say beasts, animals, human beings. You're just the strongest thing in the world, period. I mean, I don't think an elephant will be standing up against you or some other animal. I mean, this is it. You're it. I've seen you lift. I mean, this guy lifted almost 1,000 pounds in a deadlift. Now, I did powerlifting when I grew up with bodybuilding. We did Olympic lifting and powerlifting. So I know what it is like to deadlift. And this guy has lifted, weights that was absolutely extraordinary, and any other exercise that he does with such extraordinary weights. So you really helped the sport of powerlifting to grow very quickly. And I tell you, I included powerlifting in Special Olympics. When my mother-in-law asked me to help with Special Olympics and to be a coach, I said, I didn't want to just be a coach. I'm going to include powerlifting. And I got that inspiration from you. I included powerlifting, and we talked earlier that none of those sports here were accepted by the general public. If it was, the cage fighting and UFC stuff, or what bodybuilding, female bodybuilding, or powerlifting, none of this stuff. Now those things are huge. I tell you an example with powerlifting. When we had the International Games and Special Olympics, there were a few hundred people on this sports event, a few hundred people on this sports event, a few hundred people here. But at the powerlifting championships, there were 5,000 people. The hall was packed for the Special Olympians. And they, of course, have two disciplines, which is the deadlift and the bench press, not the squat, but the deadlift and the bench press. And it is a hugely popular sport. So again, I want to say thank you to the great contributions that you have made. Let's give a big hand to Mark. And Elaine, first of all, let me just say, we all miss Jack tremendously. But there's no one obviously that misses him more than you. I know what that must be like for you right now, to come here to the Arnold's Classic and throughout the year, not to have this extraordinary human being by your side. I know what my mother went through when my father passed away. And it's a terrible loss, and it is pain and all of those things, and you and I talked about it many times. And I also told you that anytime you feel lonely or you want to talk to someone, I'm always there for you. So we just want you to know that we all miss Jack. But we also recognize that you were a true partner. That Jack would have never been where he was. He would have never had the successful TV show that he had. He would have never been able to speak the way he spoke. He learned a lot from you. You were there at every step of the way. You were a great partner. You were someone that inspired him when he was down, someone that helped him write the fitness books and all of those kind of things. And just now when I listened to your speech, it was very clear again, what great leadership did you have and how much of a partner you were to Jack. So let's give a great, great hand to Elaine for a great contribution to this. And Jim, I've said it many times, the day I won the Mr. World competition here in Columbus, Ohio in 1970, at the Veterans Memorial Auditorium, I was at an all-time high because I beat Sergio Oliva, which was very meaningful to me. He beat me the year before, so it was the time for me to do the same to him as he has done to me. So I was on the climb in bodybuilding, I remember, and I walked away that day and said to myself, winning this Mr. World contest was the most important thing for my career. This is going to make sure that I'm going to win Mr. Olympia in 2 weeks from now in New York, and on and on and on. But as time went on, I realized that that was not the most important thing that has happened that day. What was the most important thing was to meet Jim Lorimer. I met Jim Lorimer because he was the organizer of the event. And I was so impressed with the event that I said to him, we got to do this together after I retired from bodybuilding. In 1975, I retired. In 1976, we started promoting bodybuilding competitions right here in Columbus, Ohio. But even though we were partners, we never signed an agreement, and we've never had an argument about anything for all of these years, since 1976. But he has become one of my closest friends and confidants and advisor. Because this man you can ask about anything. About law enforcement, about the FBI, about the judiciary system, about politics, about policy, about community organization, about being a mayor, about being a family man, being a husband, being a fantastic father. It doesn't matter what it is and what advice I needed over these last 42 years. since I met him. I could always go to him. He has been an absolute jewel in my life. So I just want you to know that what a great pleasure it is for you for me to see you get that medal of all the great contributions that you've made for sports and for fitness and for bodybuilding and strength training and all the different sports that are here today. But what great contribution that you've made to me and to make me a better human being. So thank you very much, and thank all of you. Thank you.
If we get a picture with all the guys up. If all the inductees could stand up, we'll get a group shot here together. If everybody could stand up, we'll get a group shot. Your 2012 inductees into the first class of the International Sports Hall of Fame.